Hi, my name is Ray. It's wee hours in London on a Monday evening on the 26th and getting ready for the Empower Hour phone call that's going to be coming through. It happens every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which makes it very late for us over here in London, in the UK and the rest, on the eastern directions from the EST. One of the things I find really interesting is that we're discussing the whole thing about kind of what's inspirational to us, and I have to say the Empower Hour is extremely inspirational to me because it effectively is discussing about you have people discussing about their aspects of of what inspires them in their journey towards their success and prosperity and kind of enrichment and their empowerment. Um, I've been kind of giving this a little bit of thought as to kind of what inspired me to kind of get on this kind of shift direction and kind of go in a different kind of kind of different way of living. And there's a number of books. I mean, there's always something. There's always something that's kind of happened, something key and pivotal that possibly a catalyst that kind of kicks us into things. But as far as striving towards something, um, and being attracted to something as opposed to being kind of pushed away from something as a say a negative experience, um, or is basically is are books. I mean, there's some fantastic books out there, and it's interesting that if you look at a kind of a cross section of many of the books that people kind of attribute their kind of shift in mindset and the kind of refocusing of what it is that they that really got them kind of to think differently. I mean, not just thinking out of the box, but actually just flattening the box outright and not even having the walls in their way, and ways of overcoming the obstacles that or blocks that potentially were stifling them and holding them back. And there seems to be kind of the top five that are there. Um, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, that's pretty much, there is also the science of getting rich that's kind of in there as well. I mean, I know I discovered both around the same time, and that really is kind of like, the title pretty much says it all. I mean, definitely worth a read as a great starting point to really kind of get one kind of opened up to what is possible. A book that actually, at the time, I didn't really kind of, I actually wasn't of the mindset to it. I was attracted to it for a number of other reasons. But it really kick-started things that I wasn't really aware of at the time, and that was Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. I was kind of thinking about a little bit about, I was thinking about wealth and richness and money and my background and my family background was very, very much kind of where there was a bit of a kind of a mistrust or definitely kind of a poor set of values around money. And that's kind of how I stumbled into it. I wasn't really kind of like thinking, anything else. I don't know. Everybody has their own story. And then, of course, there's the key to interacting with people, particularly in the network oriented type businesses. I mean, people are people, and that's effectively who we're doing business with. Is the Napoleon Hill How to Meet Friends and Influence People, or Make Friends and Influence People. Excuse me, and that really kind of sets a kind of a platform, if you will, of kind of really paying attention to how we interact with other people. And often the old models in relation to doing business or even being just social is vital of what people will be attracted to and vice versa. Recently, I've come across a book. Recently, I say in the past, year plus, but I mean, I've actually dived into it a few times. It's a book I've mentioned before. Is Are You Ready to Succeed? By Sri Kumar Rao. He's kind of. It's a book about kind of unconventional strategies of achieving kind of your own personal mastery and how to kind of set oneself up for business in life and in life. He's kind of an Eastern South Asian kind of descent. However, I think he's at Columbia University now in New York, and also as well as he's an inspirational speaker as well, and asking the key questions of how to kind of link up your passion with your work, and are we actually receptive to what it means to be successful, and then setting the goals according to that, those discoveries. So an interesting book on that front as well. Another one that I've kind of come across, and again, maybe it's an overlap of Think and Grow Rich and so on, is the Cosmic Ordering Service. But just a nice kind of a thin read, very very light, and but actually quite profound in many ways. And just basically setting things in motion. I mean, it probably could fall into the areas of kind of the laws of attraction and actually the laws of ordering, not even attracting, actually kind of not dictating, but definitely kind of almost, I don't want to say commanding, but literally ordering, as in asking, requesting things that you want, aspects of one's life that one would like to have within their life. So there was that as well. It's really difficult. I mean, there's so many. I mean, there's spiritual inspiration, but kind of business-oriented reads that that have really kind of opened things up for me. I mean, there is one book that actually was really kind of got me to think in a very, very different way, and this whole thing of language of metaphor, and that was The Alchemist by Paul Coelho, of really kind of the looking at one's destiny and really identifying one's sense of purpose. I mean, that was a very magical book and a very enjoyable read, but also very, very deep. And I mean, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, there's the key people out there, the Tony Robbinses, and even Christopher Howard, Jim Rohn is key, and it's interesting that a lot of these kind of authors seem to be on the reading list of those who are in fact quite successful, and I think that's really really key. Is that it's not about just copying in the sense of because you don't have ideas of your own, but it's a case of that if you have an example of what's being done that seems to be working, and those people that you look to are living a quality of life that one would like to have, and then there's a bit of stumbling block of how to get there myself. I mean, I've had those, I have those. How I look at them has changed a lot, and how what I focus on and what I kind of don't focus on when challenge presents itself. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really key to have a formidable reading list that really speaks to you and really resonates with you, and also really kicks off some fantastic dynamism and energy and vitality that really inspires and motivates you to really get out there and do it. And lastly, the one that seems to kind of make it all possible in all this kind of realm of the internet and so on, and the kind of the laptop lifestyle, is the 4-hour work week. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better title. You couldn't ask for almost a better notion. I mean, the whole idea of that, hey, it's not just about, yes, it is about playing, but it's also about living smartly and enjoyably. It's interesting, there's some great quotations that I could pull out here, but I think the key nuggets that seem to really be kind of in front of me are really put together, identify, put together, and really, revisit even a really high value, inspirational reading list written by personalities that one really respects, that you see that hold the integrity and the values of which you ascribe to or that you resonate with, and take them from there. I mean, read every day, even if it's just excerpts. That's the thing. Think and Grow Rich. I mean, they're daily readings. There's another inspirational individual, who I've only just stumbled into, which I think is phenomenal, and I get some great ideas from and what he's doing by example. Paul Hutchings and his Think and Grow Rich audio series and his daily mindset calls. It's a fantastic notion. I mean, there's some really, really amazing people out there doing some amazing things. And if they're not writing about it, they're videoing. If they're not videoing it, they're telling you about it, and they're sharing with you in some capacity. And all we have to do is basically look and we shall find, listen and we shall hear. It's amazing out there. So on that note, go out there and find something that really resonates with you, and I look really forward to hearing about it. And get yourself to Chicago in April 2013. The tickets are going fast, and bump into each other at the event and share a story. That would be great. So once again, I'm going to say bye now, and